Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Night City Sofa. I am Jess, and I will be your host tonight, and with me as ever is the wonderful Games. Hello Games.
Oh hi.
Hi,
How's
bud.
it going?
It goes.
You might notice we're back already and not talking about pets. It's because we are fixing a travesty. We wanted to write a mystery originally and didn't, and we're like, you know what? Let's do that. Let's write a mystery.
Games is so sweet. Promptly forgot, was like, we're gonna do a part 2 next week. You wanna do this with me?
I was helping.
You were covering my ass, and I'm like, nah, I'm being transparent. I forgot. Listen, people aren't perfect. I'm a stellar example of that. So, we are doing another week of Night City Sofa, so we can actually take all those tools that we learned from last week and create an actual thing.
Building a mystery.
I feel like that should have been a soundboard that you could spend channel points on.
I need some Sarah McLachlan buttons.
We didn't think of that at the time. Damn. You guys can see on the screen I have a chat. I don't know if chat's showing up on the thing.
They are not.
I don't know if anyone's talked since it's changed screens, which might be why. Yep.
Nope.
It's working. I can see it.
Oh yeah, it is. I see it.
It's just really
I'm
small.
just on delay.
Again,
yeah.
and delay.
We want you guys to help us build the mystery.
So...
We'll take point.
Yeah. What? Is that what we're doing? I'm so confused.
No, I just figured that they could give us suggestions.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Let's involve chat.
We're going to try that. So on screen, I've created a really quick template through Excel that I'm going to be using to write things out so we can all follow along. And I'm going to take the suggestion from Jay last week, which is you have 2 hours to save Barry before the cargo container fills with water.
Justice for Barry.
So that's going to be the name of our gig. No, it can't be Justice for Barry, because I feel like it would be the second one if they don't make it, or...
But that's what he said in chat, so...
Pre-Justice for Barry.
Possibly the first part.
Justice for Barry Part 1. There we go. Justice for Barry Part 1. Perfect. Heroic. Hi Val, hi Patient, by the way, thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
As for complexity, I'm going to do an average complexity, which is 50. Actually I probably should put just 50 and then put average here, just so I know we can all see. It's beautiful and lovely. Because that's how many hit points our mystery is going to have. An average mystery, of course, is either the basis for a full gig or is the gig itself. And in this, I want it to be the gig itself.
Right.
So it's not going to go more, it shouldn't take more than one single session to go through, but I do want it to be the entire session.
For us, that would take 4 sessions.
It depends. Blank can be so... all your information is in this one comm tower that's severely guarded and you can't get into.
So we spend 4 sessions planning.
Yeah. Only to have... Anyway. Watch the episode. Something about big feet and creatures, I think is the title. So the goal is to save Barry before
his imminent demise.
Cargo container fills with water. And what I've done for myself is to put some details here so that I know. The team has 2 hours before the container fills with water. Different Barry. I know I want the cargo container to be in the bay next to the docks where Barry works. And then
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then for myself, Games, I did not ask you to do this ahead of time, and I should have. I apologize. Tell me you have your shark dice. Your shark.
I have dice with me at all times.
Beautiful. So we're going to pretend that Barry has just a D10, like, or a base 10 endurance. I'm gonna have you roll a D10 for Barry.
Okay.
Okay.
He got a 16. Though he spent 3 luck. So does that help?
He doesn't have luck. He's an NPC. NPCs don't have luck.
He is the lead character of a mystery.
He is.
Far too important.
He still doesn't have luck. Maybe in part 2 he will. It's a lie. So 16 beats difficult, so I'm going to say for this specifically, if it comes to it, Barry can hold his breath for 4 rounds. That needs to be a wraparound, so I can read that. There we go. So for me, as a GM, I like to have these little notes that I'm not, 1, creating it on the fly, and 2, rolling things randomly on the fly. But I also like it for my players, like, if they solve this mystery ahead of time and they get there within an hour, great, super fast, I don't have to worry about it. If they've been struggling and it's super close to those, like, that 2-hour mark, I don't necessarily want them to just fail it instantly when they're at that 2-hour mark. So what I would do is throw them into initiative and start keeping track of those turns, of how long it is taking them now to get into the bay and open this cargo container.
Well, and realistically, he can survive for several turns before he gets brain damage, even drowned.
Well, if he dies, they can still technically bring him up and attempt CPR, trying to save his life. So that's always an option. But to get him while he's still alive, he's got 4 rounds of holding his breath. So, thanks for the compliment on my template. So, the conclusion is easy. It is we're going to say locating Barry. Hopefully they save him, but locating Barry in the cargo container. The starting point, and this is interesting, because your starting point, it will depend on which crew you have, what group you have. For Shades, I would say that 2-4 would call Rex. They may have never spoken before, but it's the easiest thing, right? 24/7 is going to go to the apartment to secure the evidence that he knows is in Barry's apartment before this company gets hold of it. So possibly with his own Edge Runner crew, but he needs somebody at the same time to go save Barry. So he's going to call Rex, tell Rex, hey, this guy's not going to last more than 2 hours, give me your best team. Rex will call Gojira and send them on their way.
We're his best team.
We're his best team. That's a little sad, isn't it? Yep. Depending on what it's for.
Right.
Yeah.
Stealth and espionage. That's our gig.
Not most of our team's gig. So if that was the starting point, if I was doing it for Gojira, that would be my starting point. If I was doing it for Indie Bandits, however, they already have a fixer. They're not really an edge running crew. They're kind of sort of starting out in a very mixed, convoluted way. They already have a fixer, but Damien's not a fixer of edge runners. He is he gets broken ass goods and tries to sell them to people. That's not his area of expertise. So they don't really have a contact, like a fixer contact, or through Damien, as a fixer to get this information. However, they did meet Blocking J at the docks. So, as a GM, I would simply go, Blocking J is now friends with Barry, and he missed a couple calls from Barry before Barry called 24/7, and so now Jay is going to call the bandits and be like, hey, listen, I know we just met, but you're kind of a crew that does stuff, right? So, can you help me find my missing friend?
We got this.
And the bandits would, even though I honestly don't know which team would do worse.
We have a lot of experience looking for people that are missing.
And I feel like they would get different information, because Rex dealt with 24/7 directly. But I don't think, according to the transcript, 24/7 knows what Barry looks like. So
No.
at best, he could just kind of give him this information, where for the bandits, I wouldn't have the information that he's being chased. They wouldn't have information that, there's this extra evidence, but they would have a description of what Barry looks like, because he's Jay's friend.
Right.
So depending on which crew I would be writing it for, I'm going to give them different things. So, I guess let's chat. Which crew am I writing this for? Because that will...
Can I put in my 2 cents?
Mostly just depend on the starting point. Yeah, absolutely. Always.
So I feel like that the Shades crew would be much more competent at doing it. Whereas I feel like the heart and soul behind the indie bandits would drive them to, clear eyes or big eyes can't lose, kind of. I feel like theirs would be more dumb luck and less skill. But their heart's in the right place.
Okay. Heroic says to give indie bandits some love. I'm not going to write it for V. I'm going to write it for a video game character.
Because, he would just swoop in on a jet ski, save everybody.
And those missions are pre-planned for you to win, and not, through chance and dice, and...
Right.
You can just reload your save until you succeed.
But I wouldn't. I would fail and be like, oh, alright, well, I'm going to do some boxing.
Spends 10 hours boxing. Alright, let's give indie bandits some love. So, the starting point would be blocking Jay calls the bandits, asking them to locate his missing friend.
And I assume Silo would be the one that would get the contact.
I'm trying to recall who... This is bad because you would think I would know this. Who actually got his deeds?
I did.
I think he gave it to a few of you, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I got them initially, but I think we were never very close.
I honestly think he'd call Dahlia.
Yeah, Dahlia for sure has his deeds. So.
Because she was making him the special gloves.
Yeah, that I promised.
Yes, you promised. She knows how to make. So I'm just going to say, no, I'm just going to leave it like that. So that's our starting point, that's our conclusion. We do want to make, I put this here for the initial clue, we do want to make the initial clues super easy. However, I like to work backwards because I find that easier.
Okay.
Do you have a preference when you build?
I'm good with either, honestly.
Okay.
Typically I shade in the important moments, the stones, and then try to fill in between them. So
what would your stones be here?
The big stepping points on this would be hearing, a rumor, getting some piece of information to say that he was last seen at the docks.
That would be an initial call from Jay.
Well, but I mean, because even Jay doesn't know that's where he was last. That's just where Jay thinks he was.
To make this super easy, I would say that that's what Jay calls them, where he's he would call them saying, hey, my friend's got missing from the docks. He called and left a bunch of messages 15 minutes ago. I came down here, he's not here, I don't know where he is. Cameras say he left, 15 minutes ago. He looks like this, he was wearing this. He headed south.
Okay, so after we've established where he starts...
From the docks, somewhere.
Right. My next big stone would be establishing the risk of, what is going wrong with him.
Which we know he's being hunted by the people who...
But does Blocking Jay know that?
No.
So that would be the next big point for me.
So that would be
yeah.
Okay. See, and I would work backwards, where I'm I know he's in the container. So what piece of evidence leads them to the container? And then
Right.
what leads them from there
Backwards.
And that way I build my chain. Because I know where they need to end up.
That's true. Alright, let's start backwards then.
So I'm going to start backwards, which means I'm going to jump all the way to the bottom of my final
sheet.
clue sheet. Yeah. Hopefully I have enough here. If not, that's what copy and paste is for. So this final clue, this final piece of evidence that they're going to get, or one of these pieces of evidence in this final scene, we want them to be able to know that there is a cargo container in the water that is slowly filling.
Right. That is airproof. Or is waterproof.
It's neither.
I know. We want them to know that, like, hey, there is a problem here, is what I'm saying.
We want them to be able to know that there is a cargo container that is somehow in the bay.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? I have a couple ideas. I want to hear what you guys think. Games.
Are we waiting in chat?
Yeah,
Oh,
chat will move.
I thought you...
Again, I like to have more than one piece of evidence to point them in a direction, because if there's only one and they miss it, everyone's frustrated. So...
I think, honestly, a video of the cargo container being dropped would be the last piece I would give them.
Really? That's interesting. You don't think that a company that is murdering people and bringing in secret things wouldn't take out the camera?
Well, I'm not assuming it's like a regular camera. I'm assuming this is like an ATM camera, like down the street, or something that has view of what's going on, but isn't like the dock's camera. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is a fishing boat or something that's nearby.
Okay.
But if you think it was deleted, I'm good.
I think it would be, but we're gonna put the camera down.
I think shipping manifest is a good idea.
I think shipping manifest is a great idea. Or cargo manifest, whatever it would be. I put shopping, not shipping. I can spell.
Shopping manifesto.
Shopping manifest. Also, I think because I would like cameras to be used somewhere else, I don't necessarily want to use it here at the end. But I do feel that a company that is paying to bring this stuff in super secret would have wiped the cameras.
It's too hard in our day and age to actually scrub all of the video of things. That's why so many things get leaked.
But in
that's my opinion.
A digital future, not so much.
Right.
This would be
that's not a bad idea too.
Soon. Because remember, they have 2 hours it's filling with water, so they wouldn't have... Could be fired to, like, a memo to fire someone for dropping a container is possible, but not that they have been, because it was 2 hours ago.
Right.
I would also just, a very clear piece of evidence, guys, for just a perception check, that there is a missing cargo container. In a row, there would be one which could link to the shipping manifest, but also, I was thinking, if you had it rain earlier in the day, a very clear dry patch from where the cargo container was, is...
Right.
Both rely on perception, both give you different things, but still valid.
Right, that would give you a cool moment. If they're like, you know, they've gone through all this, they're on the ship looking for the container, and then they, like, roll a perception, you notice there's a spot about the size of a shipping container that is dry, and nothing else is.
Exactly, everything else is still wet from the rain earlier today.
I'm not sure that gives them the location of where the container is in the water, though.
It doesn't, but it tells you that at least a container is missing. Also, speaking of, you're right, is the container in the water? Air bubbles are a thing. Bubbles, when water goes in, air has to go somewhere. So let's not forget that there are air bubbles in the water. Now, It might be more difficult to see because I assume that they're doing this at night. I assume Barry was not captured and tossed in the middle of the day. So, might be hard to see, but definitely still possible. You could also leave a crane over the water as opposed to over the containers.
Yeah. Like one of the big magnet ones.
Whatever they used to move, because it wasn't like two people hoisted a cargo container and yeeted it.
Right.
So crane positioning is one.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Anything else we can think of for, like, it being in the water?
No, I think that covers it being in the water pretty well.
Okay. So, for our types of clues, using the thing that we have, the list that we have, I could make a new one. Oh, of course, we could also, why didn't I think of this? Interrogation, gossip, talking to a worker who may have heard a splash.
Yeah.
They might not have
going
seen
with
it,
Val's thing, saying like, oh my god, you hear that Jim's gonna get fired because he just picked up a random container and threw it in the water, you know, like...
Yeah. Or they heard a crane movement, or they heard a splash, even though it was, like, across the docks somewhere.
Right.
But let's not forget, like, talking to people is fully possible. So I think this first clue of evidence would go under auditing, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
Which is the shipping manifest that lists all the cargo containers. They would need to, but that's the thing, right? They would need to compare this list to the cargo containers that are...
The actual physical manifest.
Because let's not forget, in the story, 24/7 knows that it was a boat that was marked Do Not Touch.
Right.
So would Jay have this information to give to them? Because I guess he could have looked at Barry's schedule and known he was working at least in this area, right?
Right. I honestly, I'm feeling like the auditing we're talking about would honestly be a clue before this. I think this would fall under forensics, like putting together the crime scene. Because I think the auditing would bring them to the crime scene.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try to... I like that. I'm going to put it... Let's move this over here. I'm going to end up moving so many of these things. But essentially, for me, all of these are the ones that, like, are at the dock. At the dock site.
Yeah.
Right? So they're all kind of contained. So whether they choose to run directly to the area or pick up a manifest and compare it or whatever.
Digital scavenging to find Barry's work schedule or whatever they end up doing.
So can compare to the shipping containers in the area to see. And then this one you said forensics?
Yeah, I would say this is forensics.
And this is to, like compare between the two to see that?
It's to determine what happened at a crime scene is the definition on the chart. Mm-hmm. And I think that it is to piece together all of the previous clues to figure out where the container is. Now that they know where the container should be, this is to find out where it ended up.
Okay. See, and that's And that's so interesting because I wouldn't use this as like forensics, as like deduction, because by the time they have all these clues, they should be able to figure it out. For me, this forensics deduction is that deduction DV15, where if they get stumped, trying to piece it together. Because it's not like they're actually like looking at, you know. Otherwise, I would say it's like because perception for the water, perception for the.
Right, but I feel like all of that is kind of the forensics.
I don't think that is for me, because forensics is actually like you're looking at the scene of a crime where it's like, okay, well the body was laid out here, the blood splatter is over there, so your shooter was over here. Like you're actually like. Right,
but like, okay, there's a dry spot where a thing was. The crane is above the water. There are bubbles in the water. Somebody must have backed a truck up here and taken it.
Maybe. I feel like it would be observation sooner than.
I could see observation. I would put it under forensics.
I will leave it as deduction DV if they can figure it out. That's fine. So this would be auditing, looking at the shipping manifest. What DV? Like a 13, I think? 'Cause they're actually doing like the work, right?
I would say it's a 15.
Really?
And yeah, the reason would be that just looking at the manifest, that would be, you know, a 9 or a 13, not a big deal. But comparing it against the physical, because the boat's big and has several containers on it.
We don't even know if it's on a boat. That's the thing. You say boat, I assume it's actually like on the in the dock work, yeah, in the yard. It's been taken off the boat and is on the yard to be cleaned.
The yard is big. So
yeah, oh yeah, still 100%. They still have to take that, but I feel like that's not really a skill roll. That's just a you can compare it, but it's going to take you X amount of time.
Right, and that's why I was raising the difficulty, is because of the time. Because they're under a time constraint. They have a ticking clock, is the reason that I said it was a 15.
See, I would just put the ticking clock as it's going to take you this long if you do it container by container with no other things to narrow it down. Like, I wouldn't leave it to a roll.
Okay.
Because a roll gives you a chance to fail. And I'm like, if you have a piece of paper in front of you and you are going item by item by item, how can you fail that?
I've done inventory. You can do it. You can fail that.
I'm aware you can, but I would say it would just take them longer. If they're going to do it that way. But let's say that this is, we might put different things in here, but I want to say this is observation. I'm going to put a couple things in here.
Okay.
So, a perception DV, and I think the DV for, like, the bubbles in the water at night should be significantly higher.
Yeah, like a 20. Like,
it is
hard to see.
20 or is it 21? What is the...
So, a 20 is the DV. You have to beat a 20.
No, 21 is the DV for Heroic.
Is it? I thought it was 20 this whole time.
Nope, it's 21. I thought it was 21. And that will be to see, the bubbles in the water. You know what, I'm gonna, my screen is so small, I have everything, like, I'm going to make these individual things. There we go. DV17 at night to notice that the ground is dry.
I'm assuming that there are lights, so I would make it a fairly low DV,
15?
but yeah.
Or do you want 13?
I would do 15. Okay. Without lights, I could see it being much higher, but I assume it's well lit.
And then the crane position over the water, that's not too hard, 13.
Yeah, that one's pretty obvious.
Honestly, they would need to put that together with their
if they think of that, it's easy to figure out. But
right? Yeah. Over the water.
Yeah, DVX with penalty for darkness.
Alright. So, they make an observation check, they can learn these things. I've got 3 different pieces of evidence that will point them to the water. Oh, I wrote this differently. I meant this for something else. The clue container in water. There we go. Clue type would be observation. I did them all up top, so that's fine. I think I meant to write, like, the whole thing of, like, why that clue was there, but that's okay. We're going to do a bunch of different ones. Now, if they fumble and things go wrong, because if they fumble, bad things happen.
Right.
So I want to have that kind of pre-figured out so that I'm not thinking about it on the spot as a GM.
Right. Because I know that you hate that, like, having to on the fly react to this
It's
kind
not
of
that
thing.
I hate having to react to it, but I feel like if I have more time to react to it, I can make a more realistic decision.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously if they fumble, they don't see the bubbles. Like, if it's like they don't see the bubbles in the water, I'm like, you just don't. Like, it's maybe there's a mist over the water and you literally will never see them.
Or the water's choppy, or, yeah.
Yeah, or something, right? Like, that one's kind of easy. A fumble for noticing the ground below the cargo container being dry? I feel like, because I've lumped this all together, if they fumble, and it depends on, like, how they got into the docks.
Right.
Because if they stealthed and didn't tell anybody, a fumble could obviously be like an alarm gets raised, and all of a sudden their time on the docks is cut short. That's super easy.
Yeah.
If they bribed their way in, and they were like, or, you know, Jay let them in
Finessed,
this case,
yeah.
right, where they have somebody on the inside, that I can't really play with as easily.
Right. You think even in that case, though, they've costed themselves time, at very least.
At the very least, right? So if they fumble, like, give them extra... Cost what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I was thinking 10 minutes is a good...
Okay. Done. Easy.
Cost.
Observation damage. I feel like these, I know it says in the book, observation, is 2d6.
Yeah.
I feel like these are pretty simple, apart from, like, the bubbles in the water, though. I'm gonna leave it as 1d6 for now.
Okay.
I guess it would be 2d6. By the end of this, they should have enough information.
Right. They should be able to have everything they need.
Right. We're gonna make... do we want a 2... I guess a 2 obfuscation, depending on... darkness bending.
Yeah, darkness bending.
Darkness bending. There we go. So they will take 2. I don't necessarily have to penalize their perception for it if I don't want to. Or actually it would be 0. 0 for obfuscations. There's been no... Let's do this per rules as written. These things are only open. None of these things have been changed by an outside force.
Right.
So that's fine. If they fail, it's 1d6, I believe. Yep.
Yep.
I don't think there's any obstacles here other than the ticking clock.
Depending on how they get in, there could be, you know, a wandering guard, but...
Wow. Enter...
Somebody doing rounds, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which would make checking the manifest so much harder.
Okay. But we do have... So some up here for the container in water. The documents... So, what the crew can gain from talking to or looking in the manager? Sure. Manager's office. Why not?
Foreman's office?
Foreman, thank you. Proper terms.
I think it's... I've never worked on a dock, but I think it's a foreman.
Okay. So this is what the auditing would be, right?
Yeah.
What? Now what? Because this would be the memo, as well as the, obtain the shipping manifest, as well as a memo about firing ex-employee tomorrow for disposing of container in the bay. No, it says accounting or bureaucracy, and I don't want to use either of those for this specific.
For audit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing here.
Right. I would honestly say possibly deduction or reveal conceal. I'm going to say reveal conceal makes the most sense, actually.
Actually, you know what? This could be... Because I keep kind of forgetting. I always imagine papers everywhere. It's probably more digital. It's probably digital scavenging.
It could be. I was going to have a clue...
Off of a computer.
Piecing together video footage as digital scavenging. But yes, you're right. Technically, this would be digital scavenging, pulling this from the foreman's computer.
I'm going to put digital scavenging, and I'm going to put... you know what? I'm going to put digital scavenging.
Uh-huh.
Electronic... Yeah, it would be Alexec, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm going to put this 2/ and I'm going to put bribery. And I'm going to put persuasion.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you're going to break in and hack, you're going to need Alexec.
Right.
If you're going to bribe the foreman...
Yeah.
You can do that. If you want to persuade the
foreman's secretary.
You could do that too. So
yeah.
I feel like you have options here. We do need a DV.
I think this is harder, but we want them to get the manifest is the problem. So I would say 15.
Okay. It's so funny because you're like, I don't know, this should be harder. And I'm like, DV 15, depending on who you have on your team.
Should be simple.
Should be simple. Because if you break... Okay, so... Indie Bandits, right?
Sure.
Let's remember this is the Indie Bandits. I can't remember what your perception scores are. However, you have Dahlia with you, who is the tech.
Yeah.
Who gets bonuses to all their tech rolls when they're not fabricating shit. So...
Right.
I can't remember what
I've
Dahlia's
got my bandit pulled up now.
Your bandit or Dahlia's bandit?
Yeah, I have Damien.
Do you have Dahlia?
He was the quickest one I could get to.
Fair enough.
I don't have Dahlia.
That's okay. What's Damien's perception?
His perception is not great. It's an 8. Okay,
so for him,
he'd have to roll a 7.
He could probably find the crane resting over the water. Would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about his Alexa? I assume his Alexa is not great.
Oh no, his tech was a dump stat, so...
Yay, dump stat.
Yeah.
What about his bribe and his persuasion, though? One of those are
Those
high.
are really good,
right?
actually. Actually, bribery's not, but persuasion's not bad.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. He has a 9 in both, which I'm surprised at.
So
his trading, his streetwise, his, like, those are higher. And human perception are like 13
a 9.
range. Yeah.
So you would need a 7 or better.
Yeah.
But
if I didn't spend luck.
If you didn't spend luck. But you could use training if you actually had something in exchange instead of like bribery or persuasion.
Yeah.
But you also have Dahlia, who's at least a tech rank. What role rank are you? I know we started the bandits lower.
I am rank 2.
2. Okay, so she gets a +2. We'll say Alexek is a base 10, so that's a 12.
Yeah.
She's rolling base. Dahlia needs to get 3 or better.
Right.
Or sorry, 4 or better.
Which shouldn't be hard.
Shouldn't be hard. So, should be able to do that. Okay, that one says it's supposed to be 46. You're not going to get 46 from this. I'm going to drop it to 2d6.
I'm going to argue for 3d6.
Because just having the manifest, you still have to go out and look at things.
Right. I think the rumor, though, is worth more. If they get the rumor. The memo.
Oh, the memo?
Yeah.
That's true. But if they make that leap and start looking in the water, and they, like, that's the thing, if they solve it before it hits 0, I don't care.
Right.
As long as they do enough damage.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at 2d6. We'll go through the rules. We'll see if we can actually get 50 damage
if we
points
can do enough damage.
And if I need to up it, we'll up it. How's that?
Also, I thought of a complication.
Oh, here you go. 3d6 focus damage is if you fail. I'm not going to do 3d6. I'm going to put 1d6.
Okay.
I lowered it by half. I'm gonna cut the focus damage as well.
But you're going to leave the could destroy the evidence?
I don't think so. It said it could
they
be
accidentally
repaired.
delete
They accidentally delete the file? Oh my god, that would be hilarious. You know what? Yeah, accidentally delete
on a fumble.
the manifest, so yeah.
Or the memo. They accidentally delete the memo. Yeah.
I'll give them a...
50-50.
Yeah. It'll be bad. You had an idea about something.
A complication if they get to the end too quickly. You can have a pin pad lock on the cargo container that they have to have gotten the code for prior to getting there.
So cruel.
Unless they use the crane to pick up the cargo container.
Which is fully possible. Like, how they get the cargo container, how they get to Barry in the cargo container is completely up to them. They could use the crane, they could try to jump into the bay and swim, that's a whole different thing. That's, as a GM beat chart, that's extra stuff. I'm just worried about the cruise. Man, a pin pad. Could you imagine if the code was in this manager's office and they fumbled? It's like, oh, well, you deleted the code.
Hopefully you don't need that.
So, do we want an obstacle? Because here's the thing. I could put a digital obstacle on this computer. Which, in the book, or the DLC, it's in a hard-to-access net architecture.
Sure.
Right? I don't want to do a net architecture because we don't have a netrunner in the advance.
You know what you could do, though?
But I'm thinking a computer password. What were your thoughts?
Instead of a password, that the manager's an idiot. So nothing is organized is the problem. Not that it's hard to get into, it's hard to navigate because, like, there are 300 icons on the desktop.
Oh my god. Yes. Okay, I'm going to say it's a distraction obstacle.
Yeah.
Unorganized desktop with icons.
When I owned a computer repair store, that was my...
Moxie's fucking nuts. Like, she would be like, I've got to spend 10 minutes just moving things around, dear God.
Yeah, when I owned a computer repair store, and I'd, like, turn on a customer's computer, and, like, it's just covered in bookmarks and folders and stuff, I'm like, oh no. Okay. One of my first recommendations, like, don't do this.
Don't ever do that. So, and then just the actual clues of sticky notes stuck to them under 9 and now you know what? That's legit.
At my work, we had sticky notes with all the passwords on them stuck to the screens, and I was like, what's the point of having passwords if the sticky note is here? The people who need the passwords should just remember them. It was determined that's too difficult, and we need to leave the sticky notes on the monitors.
Mm-hmm. That's why I've asked Blank on numerous occasions when we get to a computer where I'm like, is the password written down somewhere? And he's always like, no. And I'm like, dude, you clearly have never worked with... It makes sense because he works IT, so I assume he's with competent people who know they need to remember their passwords. Yeah. He's never worked... I once worked in a law office with a lady who was, like, in her 70s. There were passwords and post-its, like, all over the place. Like, password to the computer, on the monitor. It was not getting removed.
That's the pin pad password is written on a sticky note on the monitor.
On the monitor. Oh my god. So this location is in the foreman's office at the docks. I forgot to do that for below. And let's say in what section?
The docks?
Yeah. Where's this?
We're in the quarantine area that cargo goes in when it first comes into the country. The customs area. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. This is where it would be, like, cleaned and then dropped off. You know what I need? I just need, it's in, like, it's at the docks in section 26. Like, I just need...
Warehouse 6.
Thank you. Perfect, thank you. Warehouse 6. Alright. Foreman's office. So I think, is that everything we had? We got the shipping manifest, we got the memo. Oh, we forgot the interrogation. And possibly the camera.
Yeah.
So let's put... Because this could be both for just like, I don't know why I put a title here for like clue. I feel like it was supposed to be like the evidence. I don't know what I was thinking. I made this yesterday. One would think memory would serve me. Conversation. So talking to a dark worker / guard / someone in the dock area to gain information about
rumors,
where Barry was working that day, like what he was, or what section, what section of the docks Barry was working, what Barry looks like.
Yeah,
probably
that'd be helpful.
Would be helpful if they don't already know. Oh no, they get that information from Jay at the start, so that's fine. Possibly hearing crane, or what do I want to say? Something about like the sounds that would lead them, like either the splash in the water, or the crane being used. What?
That is a really, like, you want a specific word for a large concept.
I want the concept versus like the specifics.
A commotion.
Auditory news. I got it. I got there. So according to the chart, this would be, I'm going to say interrogation, not gossip.
Okay.
On the wrong thing. Because interrogation is actually like talking to people as opposed to
gossip's conversation, though.
I mean, we can use whatever skills we want.
Right.
Because that's where it's like gossip is like tapping your sources around the area, which isn't quite the same as I feel like questioning witnesses or subjects. Yeah. So I'm going to say it's interrogation, but yes, I'm absolutely going to use conversation, persuasion, streetwise.
Human perception, interrogation.
Yeah, depending on how they go about it, I guess.
Right.
There's a new one we put, etc. DV. These are not hard things to learn.
No.
So let's say
Especially
13's an
yeah.
everyday, as long as they can hold an everyday conversation.
Yeah.
Right, as long as you can kindly ask Cal for a drink without screwing it up.
Hey, so I noticed you're looking really good over here, and I'd like a drink. Is that a new shirt?
So hilarious. If they fumble, I assume they would, get kicked out, or...
Yeah, I would say that they have to break in.
Like...
They're escorted off the property.
Either escorted out, or warned away from, like, don't talk to these people.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden you...
Added suspicion.
Ooh, added suspicion. Let's do that.
Which would make the obfuscation higher on future checks. Like a +1 obfuscation. Oh, thank you. Posture check.
Posture check. So, interrogation is, again, supposed to be... Well, I'm going to go 3d6. Because that's a lot of information to gain. Because that narrows it down from the hold docks to a specific warehouse to potentially the bay.
Right. Starting a fight. I have so many great ideas for obstacles, but not very helpful in the clue department right now. Because I thought of... Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I thought of a great obstacle when they're doing the digital... they're piecing together the digital clues, digital scavenging, is that they end up in a cipher that's like telling them what the company's doing, the evil company that Barry was trying to inform them about. And so like they get completely sidetracked with the evil plot that's going on, but it has nothing to do with the Barry plot they're supposed to be focused on.
Yeah, that would be an obstacle.
Yeah, I'm great at obstacles. And
yet, it would be a good, like, damage to the actual mystery if this was an overarching one.
Right.
I'm gonna say it's a heavy obfuscation. Oh, no, let's do light.
I like that, like you're tripping on blue glass.
Oh, we'll get there. We will get to the blue glass obstacle, trust me. I'm gonna say people often ignore Barry and are focused on their work.
He's forgettable. Mild-mannered.
Yeah. He's kind of off, you know.
Yeah.
But so is Jay, that's why they were good friends.
Right.
And if you fail your interrogation, it's 2d6. Oh! There we go. On a fumble, check cannot be tried again by any member of the crew.
Yes, for sure.
So I guess that's exactly what it was. But, like, on a fumble, clue is lost.
Poor Barry.
Justice for Barry! Wraith is obstacle. Wraith is posing as a fake employee on a different job and starts treating them like customers. Dude! That's so fucking good!
It's so true, though.
Oh, can we rate that as an obstacle? Can we please rate that as an obstacle? Okay, thank you.
Yes. It's like the concrete job all over again.
You know what would be hilarious, too, though? What would that obstacle be? Hang on, sorry. I'm on way too many things right now. A distraction, right?
Yeah.
Or red hair. I guess it wouldn't be
red herring.
No, because you're not really part of the mystery. I think they figured that out right away. You would just be a major distraction.
Do you think that Wraith would not seem like he is part of whatever the mystery is? He would just go with it. Like, yeah, no, I have your information. Don't worry about it. But
oh yeah. The problem is, here we go. Carrie's a big fan of his.
Yeah, I would get caught.
She would recognize you as Wraith, and then you would be like, oh yeah, but I'm undercover, I'm doing this game. She'd be like, what are you doing? Are you here because of this? Are you here because of Barry? And Wraith would be like, yeah, I'm totally here because of Barry. Do you know where he is? I think I saw him on the other side of the docks.
Yeah. And then tell her about his new album that's coming out.
Exactly. You know what? I would say distraction/misdirection. Like, it would... Honestly, it would be better if Carrie wasn't there and didn't recognize him. That would be
for
the
sure.
best.
Yeah, Patient, this would be a Rex job for sure if they ran into a different crew.
Okay. I don't think the camera is needed. I think we have a lot of things to point them.
Yeah,
without
I think
a camera.
we got. Yeah.
So I think we're good.
Yep.
So in my headcanon, the way I have this is Barry left the docks, right? According to the transcript, he was walking away. He did not go home, so he walked in the opposite direction of his apartment, wherever that is. And while he was on the phone, some guys came, probably knocked him out.
Black-bagged. Yeah.
And taken away. So the next step, working on the chain backwards, is at some point the crew needs to find out that he was brought back to the docks.
Right.
From wherever he was captured.
Well, we need to establish that they find the van and get some clue that the van returned.
But is that the van? Because, like, say these cargo containers were from Biotechnica, right?
Sure.
And then I hire my Biotechnica muscles, or I'm an exec, I get my crew, to take our van, get Barry, throw him in a container, yeet him into the water. That van is not going to stay in the docks. That's my van. That's my evidence.
What you do, okay, if I'm laying out the timeline of what occurred here, he's on the phone, walking away, right? Gets black-bagged off property, taken to a warehouse and held until night, and then brought back to the property, put into the cargo container, and dropped in the water. Because there's less witnesses at night.
I assume this is all at night. Like, he was scheduled to clean it at night. So he finished the job and was leaving. And as soon as that call hits and that ends, that's when Jay would.
I don't think so.
Found out. I think so. That's what he based this whole mystery on, was that Barry called Jay a million times before he got a hold of 24/7, and then Jay tried to call Barry back when Barry got black-bagged. So it all happened that night. It's all one night, same night, man, same night.
My version of this is. He works night shift. He got kidnapped, like, dawn. They came back the next night, and the reason that you get the call from Blocking Jay is Barry missed his shift. He didn't show up. Which is what triggers the event.
Dear God, no.
And from the call from Blocking Jay is when he's dropped into the thing.
No. Dropped into the thing, but, like, it was when Jay calls and they've got 2 hours, for sure.
Yeah.
But no, it was like working like an evening into the night shift, like into the middle of the night. Was leaving at like 11 or 12. Just, dude, keep it simple. Keep it simple.
I would take him off-site and hold him, I'm just saying.
I know you would. But, like, then they'd be like, why can't we save him? Why did it take this long? Like, just don't add an extra complex piece. Just bring them from the black bag site back to the dock. So, and that's where I was thinking, it was like either the black bag site, you would either have a camera that would show the vehicle that was used.
Right.
Or a witness, and that's where I was thinking a witness on glass who was like, man, this black SUV just pulled up and stopped, and there was this dude on the phone, and then the dude on the phone was gone, and the black van was speeding the other direction. It was like a magic trick, and they just like flashed the entire middle section of the guy getting captured, and it was just like, I know this vehicle showed up, and this dude was here, and then the vehicle was leaving, and the dude was gone.
I like it.
It was a great magic trick, though.
Just 1 second he was there, and the next, like, the van was even gone.
Well, I would want them to know that the van was heading back towards the docks.
Right.
Right? So... But then how do we track the van going back to the docks from that location? Because we've got a witness, probably a camera that shows what happened, even if it's poor quality.
Yeah.
That shows that he was kidnapped and taken towards the direction of the docks, but how do we confirm what piece of evidence clues in that he went back specifically to the docks?
And you don't like that there would be any video footage at the dock?
I feel like because they've been doing this, because the boat has been waiting there for a while, because they've cleaned it, cleaning video footage seems like a very, like, high procedural...
Because I have two ideas. Either that they saw a
do.
video of the van pulling into a cargo container that they had seen previously kidnapping him, or muddy tire prints at both sites.
I like tire prints at both sites. Ooh,
Yeah.
what if, I like this a lot better. Because you know how he needed super industrial strength cleaner?
Yeah.
What if the tire prints are actually, because it's Night City and it's gross and it's disgusting, what if it's not that they're muddy, but the very opposite, is that there's very clean lines of tire tracks.
Because of the chemical.
Because of the chemical.
Okay.
Going into the docks and at the location where he was picked up.
And actually, that doing a chemical analysis, they could probably find his footprints because he would be tracking the chemical, so they could find where he was kidnapped.
Do we want to make Barry even smart enough to say that he was leaking the cleaning solution as, like, a breadcrumb trail? Because he knows because he was paranoid that he was being followed?
I don't think he's that smart.
You don't think Barry's that
That's
smart?
not
Okay.
the mild-mannered Barry that I get the impression of. Yes, Hero, I wanted to put him in a van in a cargo container at the bottom of the bay. The El Coronado.
No, he's just in a cargo container.
Well, he's in a box in a van in the cargo container at the bottom of the El Coronado.
There was a bucket, a frog, and a log. However that goes. Okay. Tire tracks. Tire tracks.
Are we doing chemical analysis
That
for this, or are we
link
doing
Give me a second. Yes.
observation?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Abduction site?
Abduction vehicle, thank you.
Yeah, in a straitjacket, and then in a body bag, sealed in a box, in the back of an SUV in a cargo container with a locked pin at the bottom of the bay.
Thank you, Heroic. Yes. Due to the industrial cleaner used to or I guess it would be tire tracks and footprints, right?
Yep.
There's footprints also. That actually could be a good way to try to figure out where he went from the docks, if they can find it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and you just hand wave it, kind of, if you don't want to do the super complicated thing. Have them do the one chemical analysis roll, and then have, like, luminol does with blood, something they can spray that will make it glow under blacklight, so that they can follow it easier.
I'm not going to be that nice to them. So, it's basic tech. or a science?
Science.
I feel like, okay, what would Wraith use? Because he's the only one who actually uses...
His chemical analyzer.
Yeah.
He would just
It would just
swab
be
it.
basic tech with a chemical... Cause the chemical analyzer would give you a +2, is what it is?
I think it's a +4. I would have to check.
It is not
Mine's-
a +4.
Mine is broken, so I don't know.
I like that you're like, oh yeah, it's a +4. There's no way it's a +4.
I will check.
I'm gonna look it up too.
I don't have it on here. I have drug analyzer, but not chemical analyzer.
I'm slowly waiting for the...
PDF to load.
Yeah. Chipware socket. No, that's not what I want. I know I bought the actual like chemical. It's showing me like 2 results, and neither of them are the results that I actually want. Where it gives me the description.
Right.
Test chemical composition of substance against a database of samples. It doesn't actually say you get a bonus for it.
It just gives you the information if... It allows you the information if you pass the check.
Yeah.
So there's no bonus.
Nope.
Can...
Oh wait, here we go. It took forever. It just needs to load. Yeah, no, you don't get a bonus. +4. There is no bonus. I get a +4 chest.
+4 is what mine says.
Nothing gives you like a +4. Negative, sure.
Right.
Okay. So it does 3d6 damage.
I think that is very fair.
Fumble, the sample is destroyed. They would have multiple samples, so I'm not super concerned about that. So we'll just say sample destroyed.
It costs time.
Need another.
Because they have to regather.
Yeah. That's good enough for me. I don't feel like there should be an obfuscation on this. Maybe a light obfuscation,
yeah.
Because it was raining, the ground is wet, so it's slightly diluted.
I don't think that the dilution would be my big problem. The fact that it's a chemical on the ground, I think, is already obfuscated level 1 by itself.
I feel like if it's a strong cleaner, like, have you ever dropped a cleaner into something that's really dirty and it literally, like, cleans the area
that
around
oil,
it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it would be in Night City, where it's not hard to tell because it's like, oh hey, the sidewalk's actually gray. Like,
right.
It would be so noticeable.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's notice in reverse kind of thing. Ground wet. Well, I will say chemical on the ground. But just a light, right? Not.
Yeah.
We don't need anything more than that, so it's a 2. Where is chemical analysis? 2d6 on a fumble. I don't think we need an obstacle for this.
No,
No. So the location of this is just kind of like lightly on the sidewalk. Or on the path where Barry walked.
Barry's path and abduction site. And at the...
Heavy at the abduction
warehouse
site.
20, or warehouse 6.
Warehouse 6. Cool. Alright. So then I do want... So do you want to do the witness or the camera first of the abduction site?
Camera will be easy.
Okay.
I think witness will take us a little more time.
Where is the camera?
Grainy footage from a bodega.
Across the street?
Yep.
Okay. I almost want to call it Mike's fucking bodega, but it's not the area that we're in, which really makes me sad. So this would be digital scavenging as well, right?
Yeah. Or bribery, I guess.
Which is Alexec. Could do bribery. DV what?
Well,
bribery to see it, but I would say Alexec to actually, like, go for
Well, I
the
think
footage.
you could bribe the
That's fair.
person to give you the footage, or you can steal the footage.
Or you could just watch the footage.
Right.
You're like, I need to take it. No, you could just be like, can we watch your footage for the past, like, hour?
Right. I think it's a low DV because I think that the bodega employee doesn't like their job, per se, so... And it's a cheap bodega, so... 13?
What if... Hang on, though. What if... This is so bad. What if this has the obstacle of a red herring? Where the bodega employee is doing something illicit in the back and doesn't want to let the crew back there?
Okay, so DV-17.
So it's not... Yeah, it's not... He hates his job. Maybe he's, like, stealing goods on the side and reporting them stolen. I don't know. But he's doing something that doesn't want the crew to go back there, so they automatically assume, like you guys assumed the butler was in on it for some reason, that he's in on this abduction, even though it's not. He's just doing something completely...
Or it's because he knows on the footage he was doing something illegal. And so that's why he doesn't want you to get to the footage.
Oh, I like that.
And
okay, let's do
so
that.
in a fumble, he deletes the footage.
Ooh, okay. Play deletes footage. The obstacle is a red herring.
Yeah.
Notes the employee. What is he doing that's illegal?
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like he's selling something he's not supposed to, or, like, I don't know. Sleeping on the job.
Sleeping, honestly, yeah. Certain solo is in the back trying to dig through crates. Cooking drugs, I debated that, yeah. Sleeping on the job, and they don't want anyone to see / know. Okay, so I like that. So that's that's what it is. Again, I don't know if this would do 46. We'll put 46 as the thing. Light obfuscation because it's grainy, right? It's not super great.
Yeah.
Or partial recording, or is it complete? Complete but poor quality, right?
Yeah, it's complete but poor quality.
So it's heavy. So I'm just gonna write that as the notes. Complete but poor quality. And then the damage, digital scavenging, is 3d6. Okay. Bodega across the street on the production site. There we go. Okay. And then witness statement, right? Witness count?
Yep.
Witnesses who saw Barry get taken in what? What did he get taken in?
A black van.
SUV?
Yeah.
A white paneled van?
You want me to look up specific vehicles?
No. I just need to know type size.
Because that would take me some time,
no plates?
actually. No plates, no insignia. Which makes it even more suspicious.
Yes, exactly. So this is going to be, I don't know, like gossip or interrogation. Taking up my multiple marketing scheme. Okay. So this is going to be like a conversation, persuade, whatever. Probably closer to conversation, I would say, specifically.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say conversation or streetwise. Streetwise isn't enough love.
I agree.
Because it's how well you can actually, like, you know, blend in on the street and no shit. So, let's go conversation or streetwise. What DV, just to have, like, a general conversation, like 13, right?
Yeah, for a standard
For a
conversation,
standard
yeah.
conversation? Because this is kind of just like, hey, I'm looking for this person. Did you see them? What did you see?
Did you see anything interesting? Yeah.
Oh, but I guess because Night City people might not want to talk about it. Like, I don't want to get involved kind of thing.
I know this isn't how it works, but I would have it the way I would do it is a staged DV. The higher they get, the more useful the person is.
Okay.
So basically, they'd end up with the glass person at a 13 plus, but they would need, to get somebody helpful, they would need a higher DV.
They would need a much higher DV? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like what we can do, there are multiple people that can be asked. I don't know, bodega employee was asleep.
He is not helpful. He'll lie and say that he saw nothing.
The guy for the blue glass withdrawal saw the beginning and end.
Well, he saw the whole thing. It just
he only knows about the beginning and the end. And then we'll say what? One more person? One or two more people?
I'd have a street preacher that saw the whole thing but wasn't paying attention to it. And then have, a businessman waiting for a bus down the street, saw the whole thing, but he was a little bit further away.
Okay. That's a lot.
I'm sorry.
On a fumble, the witness won't talk anymore. Easy peasy. I would say, 2d6 or 3d6? What do you want to say? Probably 3d6, right?
Yeah, I would imagine it would be 3d6.
We'll do the 3d6 because based on the fumble.
What's their name? Oh, don't worry. I would come up with all their names.
Games is good with names. I am
not. What's the name of the glass person? Sarah.
I'm going to say 0 to... Oops, I can't do that because I put it as a thing. Oh, no. I'm going to say 0 to 4.
Okay.
For obfuscation. Notes, increased depending on who they talk to.
Yeah.
Yep. Are we letting them do, like it's 3d6 total when they talk to everybody or fail from everybody, or are we saying that they get 3d6 per person they talk to?
They get 3d6 for this entire step. So if they talk to everyone, it's the same as if they
fail it each time? Or they fail 2 of them, or they only get... what if they only get the bodega guy? What if they succeed on the bodega guy who literally saw nothing? And the blue glass guy who literally saw kind of a part of it, but they fail the other 2? Are we allowing 3d6 for that? Or am I going to put a note here that says damage determined on how many successes?
Damage determined on successful.
Right, success? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say the blue glass guy's name is Barry, and so if they happen to say Barry's name around the blue glass guy, it gets even more confusing.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That hurts me. That hurts me a lot. So 2D, so 2d6. I don't think any obstacles other than just, the people are difficult to talk to.
Right. Talking to human beings. Interaction is the obstacle.
Yeah. Okay, and so this would be the initial clue, I guess. Which is really just what gets them to this abduction site. I might need more spaces.
I think that they have to find out about 24/7 and get that piece of information because they have what. Well, but if they find out that piece of information. If they get the conversation that we have in the book that started all of this, they would have enough to get to that abduction site.
Well, Jay's going to say that, like, Barry called, left a message, thinking that someone was following him. He's leaving work. He's not heading home. This is what he looks like.
Right.
So I just need something there. He's like, he headed this way when he left the docks, approximately this time.
Okay.
Other than them just driving around and wandering, because they have 2 hours.
Well, I feel like the chemicals can get them there in the first place.
If they notice it, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's part of the problem there. The other part would be... I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time with
this. This is the only one, is like this initial clue that leads them to the abduction site. Because they don't want to, like, throw them there immediately. Because I could very easily say, Jay says, I know he frequents a bar down this way, or I know he's got a buddy that lives in this area. He may have been heading there.
Right, which would be the better way to go.
Which you could do, and they still have to kind of drive around and search for clues of, like, where he was abducted. Which could be the fallen off radiation badge from his suit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's, like, some blood on a wall, but that's going to require observation, and I'm not sure I want...
You know, trust the players.
Yeah, I want this to be something that's real easy that they can... find.
Maybe...
Oh, the phone? Probably the disposable phone, like a crashed, broken phone with the badge or whatever, should be at the scene to be like, oh, he was definitely taken here, we should look in the area, but how do we get them to that area?
Yeah, hearing the agent ringing would be easy. Also, I was thinking, and this is really stupid, but possibly every employee has a geoloc to make sure that they're in their area doing what they're supposed to. And Barry can be like, well, the log... Or not Barry, sorry.
Jay?
Jay can be like, yeah, the log shows that he left the property headed, south on blah, 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 and then the geoloc loses him.
Yeah, so then go outside the range of the actual docks.
Yeah.
But that still gets us from docks south, we'll say south for ease.
And he only got abducted a few blocks south anyway.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are you just determining that?
He was on the call when he was leaving work. So he was abducted during the call. So he didn't get that far during that conversation.
We don't know how far he called him after he left work, though.
I assumed he was, like, leaving the property.
I assumed it was, like, sometime after that. Where's the beginning?
The very beginning is not helpful, by the way.
My friend Stuart looking into things. Karl didn't show up this morning. I might not be there, though. I think someone's been following me since I worked on that job. I think he's back. That's all it says.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't give me a sense. I don't get the sense that he called, like, immediately
I took this
after.
as, like, he just left property. Because of how rushed he is with everything.
What if... Because he didn't go home, right?
Yeah, no.
And it definitely says this morning another pair needed to be cleaned. So we'll say it's at night he was there. Because he said he took a sample when he was cleaning out of the things, probably this morning or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Brought it back to his place, we know that. He said, I might not be there, I think someone's been following me. What if Barry frequents a bar?
Yeah.
And he grabbed a drink, took a couple drinks to get the courage to call 24/7.
Okay,
And
so
was
he's
leaving-
drunk when he calls Twofer.
He's not drunk, but you know when it's like, I'm just gonna get like a drink for courage or whatever and think about things?
Yeah.
Not drunk. But literally like calls not too far from the bar. Possibly on his way to his apartment. That, I think, would narrow it down, and people could say, you know, the bar would be the initial clue, stopping point, where it was like, oh yeah, he lives like 4 blocks this way. He left the bar not too long ago.
I'm looking at our map right now.
Okay. Jay could even say he asked me to meet him at McGinty's or whatever.
Right.
So start at the bar, ask if they've seen him. Jay's waiting at the docks in case Barry comes back.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And maybe, you know, have them, like, they go talk to the bartender. Nobody really has information because he, you know, had a beer and left. That would be all they can basically gain from that conversation, but it's close enough that they can walk to his work, which would give them the visual clues they need.
The bar would have what he was wearing, that he
Right.
seemed super shaken and paranoid, and that he was heading home after saying like he was going to call, I don't know, someone. Right?
He was on the phone. He's like,
I'm
going home.
Yeah, he was on the phone. Maybe someone heard the name 24/7, who knows. But because he's a regular at this bar, they know where he lives, so it's like, oh, if he headed home, he probably took this street.
Right.
And as they're walking down 2 blocks in, maybe a block in an alley, is his radiation badge, probably the coat that he was wearing, which they got a clear description of.
Right.
A broken agent.
And the clean footprints.
And then you go to like the witness account. Yeah, you can get the clean footprints, the tire tracks, the witness accounts, depending on what they decide to do from there.
Yeah. I think that's
Does that work?
honestly where I'd start it, yeah.
Okay. I feel like I have a couple things I have to make here, and I don't have...
Room.
I only need this forensics one. What?
My forensics one.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Oops, I want to do... How many rows is that? 15. I probably actually didn't even need that. So... do that twice. I think there's a space. I don't know. Perfect! Huzzah! Alright. So the initial clue is information from the bar, right?
Yeah.
What's the bar name?
It is the Shedding Lizard. The owner used to have a Gila monster that hung out in the bar, but it died years ago.
No. Just no. There's a lot of interrogation in this one.
Yeah. They can go about it other ways, though.
Gossip. What other ways?
Conversation, bribery.
We've got that in like 3 different areas.
They can
that's
overhear
fine,
rumors.
Very, very heavy in the,
Because they could just do a perception to, like, overhear information also.
I think because all of this has already happened and they're just trying to follow up on other things, there's no, like, necessarily, like, tracking or... Ooh! No, we'll have a tracking one to track Barry from the bar to
the
his
abduction
apartment.
site.
Well, yes, to the abduction site, but let's do that. So gossip skill check is... Conversation... Persuasion... Streetwise... DV. What?
Real low.
9? 13.
9. Buy a guy a beer, he'll tell you.
What happens? Oh, why is that completely? Sorry. What happens on a fumble?
The guy starts telling you too much information about Barry. Just like old stories of like, I remember one time on Christmas Eve, like they don't stay focused on the conversation. They waste your time. Or don't know who Barry is.
Relevant. Okay, I'm good with that. This is 2d6.
Also the story of a girl.
0 for that. 1d6 focus damage. No obstacles. I do want to note that they tell the crew Barry left, what, 30 minutes ago, we'll say?
Yeah.
Minutes ago, where he lives and which
And what he was wearing.
street what he was wearing.
Mentioning his jacket.
And, oops. Jeebus jacket. On which street he probably walked. Alright. Location. Shedding Lizard Bar. Alright. Tracking. Tracking Mary from the bar to the abduction site. And then this one will be... You know what? Here. Forensics. Guess it could be Gorensics too. That's totally possible.
Or... yeah, depending on how well it went.
Okay. So let's go back up to tracking. So that would be the tracking skill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Fumble. They lose time. And
Yeah.
go the wrong way.
Yeah.
That would be.
I think eventually they can find where they're going.
Impressive.
Have to roll a streetwise and lose X amount of minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely lose X amount of minutes.
Yeah. Or local area knowledge.
Lose way. Oops. Library search?
I guess, but
Library
also
search
local
slash
area.
Local. Because if they don't have it, right?
Yeah.
Failure. There we go. No, I don't think there's any obfuscation. He wasn't really covering his tracks or anything.
No.
If they somehow fail tracking, they lose a D6 focus. Streets made to do. Alright. And then finding clues of Barry's abduction, jacket, oops, on the ground, broken agent. What else did I say? I said one more thing.
You said that the badge, but he says his badge is at home in the call.
Did he, or did he just say that it started glowing?
I thought he said he left it at home.
It's cleaning up those containers, and it's some weird oil that colored my radiation badge. The sample is in smash can under the bed. He didn't say anything about his badge.
You're right. So, if he was at work, he would have his badge still, so yeah.
Yeah.
And a radiation badge.
Why won't this let me type on this anymore? There we go.
You've lost the right.
I have. Cool. That should be enough, right?
Yep.
to be like, hey, he was definitely here. This was this.
Right. You are to the important place.
So this would be forensics.
Yep.
Piecing together what happened. Which is, I guess, criminology or deduction.
Yeah. Possibly reveal conceal for finding the badge and stuff.
I like that. DV what?
Putting together what happened, I would say, is a 15. Maybe a 17.
We don't want this to be too hard, so let's go with 15.
Okay.
On a fumble...
3d6 focus damage, and a crucial piece of evidence is destroyed beyond repair and cannot provide further information.
I was thinking on a fumble, and CPD shows up wondering what the fuck they're doing.
Right. I think that's a good idea.
Because it looks like the scene of a crime, and they're just standing around there with this stuff.
Right.
But it doesn't...
Flashlights in an alley.
But it doesn't necessarily detract them from talking to people unless they throw a punch, Damien, or threaten that they planted a bomb somewhere.
I did not threaten anybody
So
with
as
a bomb.
yes, you did. So as long as when you got outside and people started walking in, yes, you did.
I warned them that it was possible there was a bomb.
46? That seems really high to be like he was abducted. Without everything else. We'll see how it goes.
I think it is a damning piece of what happened, though.
Absolutely.
So I agree with the 46.
I don't think any obfuscation is fine. D6. On a fumble, a crucial piece of evidence is destroyed, but all of this is mostly destroyed. It doesn't really have anything special other than
right.
He got taken.
Yeah.
Because then they have to do the witnesses and the tire tracks and everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, humor me. We're going to go through this. Do you have some... you know what? I'll mark things.
I do have dice.
And you do have dice. I know you do. So, Jay calls Dahlia. Hey, my friend's missing. Can you and your guys help? Or my friend gave me a call. I can't get a hold of him. I know he was last at this bar. I'm going to stay at the docks to see if he shows up, but I'm really worried. He mentioned he was being followed.
We'll be right there.
Can you go check this out? It's Dahlia.
Oh. We'll be right there.
Well, actually go to the Shedding Lizard. That would be better.
Oh. Yeah.
This is what he looks like.
Uh-huh.
Gives description of Barry. The crew goes to the Shedding Lizard. Damien can make his pick a roll, chat roll. Conversation, persuasion, or streetwise? It's not going to be difficult. Go ahead.
Let me get the right character sheet up. Alright, there's Damien. He is going to do streetwise.
Sure.
Because he is significantly better at that.
I love it. I love it.
He retroactively is going to spin luck. No, I ended up with a 14.
Oh, you're fine. It was a DV9. Remember? It was a DV9.
Oh, good.
It was super easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So after a few minutes, you're able to find out he was wearing a long brown jacket. He was still in his clothing from the docks, like he's still wearing his overalls. He had on his badge. It was glowing slightly, which was odd. Yeah, his work boots. And he left 30 minutes ago. His apartment's like, 4 blocks down this road. So if you just walk straight, you'll find him.
Yeah.
Roll 2d6 for me.
2d6. 5.
Alright.
So 1/10 of the way there.
So next would be tracking. I feel like Silo was good at tracking.
Silo is going to be in charge of that.
We're going to say, I don't even know what she has. Assume base 10, I guess. Oh, we didn't put a DV for this. What is the DV for this?
Ha ha ha, she passes. She got an 18.
I'm going to say it's a 9. Like, it's just walking down the street until you notice it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She got a 9?
No, she has an 18.
Oh, right. Yeah, so she easily succeeds. You track until you get to a spot where you find a brown leather jacket and this, and blah, 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 blah. Roll 2d6.
7 damage.
Okay. That's not right. Okay, 12. Next you guys need to actually, like, do some forensics looking at this. See, tracking doesn't make sense. Or I guess it would just be, like, 1 and then, like, if it was a little maybe more windy, that you could track the progress. Okay.
Tracking is following anyway.
Well, there's tailing. Tailing is following.
Fair enough.
So maybe it would be the forensics.
I'm assuming a base 10 on whoever's doing it.
Sure, let's do that.
They got a 21.
Okay. So find the abduction site after looking at the jacket, the broken agent.
Area knowledge would be the way to go.
And finding... Oh, yeah, local expert as possible. You quickly determine that there was more to this than Barry just took off his jacket and smashed his phone. This looks like there are clear signs of a struggle. Maybe you can see some dirt shifting. You know, the phone is broken in such a way where someone has clearly stomped on it. So clearly, Barry was taken. So roll 46. Since you greatly succeeded in this.
12.
Nice. Okay. So then, what do they do from there?
They would look for people on the street to ask if they saw what happened.
Okay. Is that what... Yeah, the bandits might actually.
Yeah.
Dahlia wouldn't, because talking to people is not her thing.
That is definitely what Damien would do.
But that is definitely what Damien would do. So I will give you that. Okay, so give me a conversation or streetwise.
19 on streetwise.
Oh, I forgot. Who would Damien talk to? There's a street teacher. There's a homeless guy that seems to be, you know, kind of.
What's the homeless guy doing?
Kind of talking to himself, kind of staring off longingly at the bodega across the street. You can see a
Okay, so he's kind of staring.
Yeah, he's just kind of staring. Seems harmless. And there's a guy, a businessman, bus stop.
I would talk to the homeless guy first.
Okay, and you rolled a 19.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is great. So you succeed in learning that there was a black SUV. There was the guy that you were, you know, if you give him the description, he tells you, yeah, he saw him, he looked like he was on drugs, man, like someone, like talking to himself, kind of always looking over his shoulder, pretty sure he was tweaking out. And then all of a sudden this black car showed up, this black SUV, and then they both just kind of disappeared. Like, stopped right at that alley and disappeared.
Then they would go to the street preacher after
So
they talked to him.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right. So give me a roll for street preacher.
I'm going to do a conversation on this one, which
This
I'm
one
working
I'm going to say you would need a conversation.
15.
The DP's 13, so you barely passed, but you passed.
Nice.
Doesn't say he saw much. There was a lot of, he was preaching the good word of whatever.
Robo Jesus.
Whatever. Did notice a black SUV pull up. Did hear some noise in the alley. A commotion, but nothing major, and then the SUV took off, and he points towards the docks.
Okay. I think that's the only information they would get from the conversations. Seeing the bodega, though, I would assume that my sister would have the idea to look at the cameras.
If she knows the cameras, yeah. Alright. You go to the bodega, the door's locked. So you pound on the door.
Is the open sign on?
Silo would pound on the door. The open sign is on, the door's just locked.
Yeah.
Silo would knock on the door, for sure. So you guys are eventually let into the bodega. The clerk asks you how they can help you. Dahlia nudges you forward.
I would explain that we need access to their security footage for the last hour.
Oh yeah, we don't give that out.
We're private investigators, and this is for an ongoing case.
For what? What kind of case?
There is a homeless man who is clearly on drugs that has been flashing people. Oh, that's just
Timmy. Timmy's fine. He doesn't flash people.
I don't know that.
I'm telling you, Timmy doesn't flash people. He's good people. I think he's trying to work as a joy toy. He's just really struggling right now.
Okay.
This is before Tim teamed up with Mika.
I'm assuming while this is going on, we eventually get nowhere with him.
Not unless you're a little more honest. Probably not. They're not going to be super...
You know the indie bandits.
I know Carrie... See, this is the thing. It depends. Silo would be blunt and honest. Carrie would be a little more honest, but they let you talk first, which is always a bad call.
I know.
And they know that.
Plan.
And they know that. But they back you up. So yeah, you probably... Yeah, unless you push, you're not going to get it.
Okay, so the docks would be our next stop, but we need to roll for our witnesses.
Okay. So you only got 2 of the 4, so I'm going to say 2d6.
Okay. 3.
Okay. You didn't get the camera. Did anybody do any investigation in the area of the abduction?
We'll say that I'm sure Aaron would have thought to do it with Carrie.
Okay.
So Aaron probably did.
Has Aaron...
Ooh.
Yeah?
-2, and I don't know what the skill is, but on roll we're on a -2.
On the roll we're on a -2. Well, this would be for, just observation, I guess, tire tracks, footprints, and before the chemical analysis. Doesn't find them. Absolutely does not find them.
Yeah.
So...
Would this be a fumble?
This would be a fumble. Yeah, because you rolled a 1. So I'm going to say, unfortunately, as Carrie is walking around this area looking for clues, her footprints are actually stepping over top of both the odds, tire tracks, evens, Barry's footprints. Go ahead and roll me a d6.
Evens.
Footprints. Okay, so the footprints are gone because she has stepped all over them. Tire tracks could potentially still be found by somebody else.
Right, and I would think that Dahlia would probably help Carrie at this point.
Yes, Isla would go with Damien to make sure he didn't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Did she
then
also
what
fumble?
would -7 to roll.
So the tire tracks and the footprints have been cleared from the scene of the crime. I love this so much. Okay, this is great because sometimes this happens with a mystery. So you guys got 0 for the camera, you got 0 for this, but you did head back down to the docks.
The docks, because we know that it's...
There's something headed that way.
Yeah.
But you know the van headed that way.
Yeah.
So what is the Indie Bandits' rationale?
Damien would talk... Well, because we were told it was headed in that direction, and we know that that's where he works. Damien would clearly believe that that's where they were headed.
Oh, they just took him back to work because he did a shitty job?
Yeah.
I'm with that. That tracks for Damien, actually. So, it is nighttime.
He is going to try to convince the night guard to let them in.
Amazing. I love that you do have a contact in there and you're just going to try to convince this guard. How are you convincing them? Are you persuading them or are you bribing them?
Bribing.
How much?
Because that's what he does constantly.
How much are you bribing?
1K.
1,000?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you roll for that. If you are giving him 1,000 eddies, he's just going to let you in.
That's pretty much what I've done constantly.
That's why you have no money as Damien. That is true. I don't know if you have. Do you have $1,000 to bribe?
On me currently, I have $2,753.
You can bribe with 1,000, so you're good. Do you ask the guard anything else, or just to be let in?
Just to be let in.
Okay. Where do you go from there?
I think that they would start heading towards the dock where they think Locking J would be, to go touch base on what they've found so far.
Okay.
Can we get an observation check?
You can get a concentration check.
Alright.
I'm going to say, by the way, getting the bandits...
20?
Nice. Okay, cool. Getting the bandits to here wouldn't have been so bad. That would have been about 15 minutes. Your conversations, your first few things went by really, really well. Like finding, investigating to the conversations.
I would say we're about 45 minutes in so far.
I would say, yeah, I would say you're at like 45. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. You guys haven't...
What would actually kill us is that trying to get here, taking the bus would...
No, because you guys have your bicycles, and from where you are over to the docks is actually not...
That far, yeah.
Not too bad. So maybe we'll say an hour just to play safe. Maybe it took you longer to get over.
Yeah.
But with the 20 conversation, I will say you do remember, because Jay brought you to the staff rest container the last time you were there. So you remember where it is. You remember how to go there. So you can head there and you can talk to Jay.
Yeah.
Who is kind of pacing and very worried.
Right. We would tell him what we know so far. And that according to our contacts, he was abducted by somebody in a black van that drove this direction.
Okay. I would say that Jay, they wouldn't have seen a black van tonight, but they do know a lot of the, like, sometimes when corporate comes in and checks in and stuff, or they send their muscle, black SUVs, it's possible.
Okay, we'll ask around. Are there other employees here that we could ask about the black van coming back tonight?
I mean, maybe one of the guards saw?
We go back to the guard I already talked to. God, this is just like we're actually playing the game.
I know. By the way, the dock is not small, and you're walking, so
I know.
this is gonna kill your time. This is where your time clock is gonna move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would like to believe that Dahlia would think to look for cameras or something while I'm doing this.
Sure.
That me and Silo would go one way and Carrie and Dahlia would go the other.
Okay. So what are Carrie and Dahlia? Dahlia would have, like, there are cameras at the docks. They are obvious and not...
Right.
I'm not gonna.
They're gonna try to get into the manager's office to find the cameras to see if there's footage.
Fantastic. So they're at the manager's office, and you
Yeah.
and Silo are gonna go talk to your guard at the gate.
Yeah.
Fan-freaking-tastic. What do you say to the guy at the gate? Let's start there.
He would ask if they saw a black van come in tonight.
Nope.
In the last hour.
Nope.
You remember I gave you $1,000, right?
Nope.
And you're sure you didn't see a black van?
Sure.
Maybe one drove past.
Would you like to do a human perception?
Yeah. Yes. Spend 3 luck. I got a 19.
19's really good. He is lying. But in the quick answers of it, where if this person was abducted and 1,000 eddies is not enough to get this person to talk,
Right.
Damien would know on the streets that this guy was either paid off way more or fears something far
bad
worse.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back to blocking Jay.
Okay. Yeah, so you go back to blocking Jay.
To tell him the van has been here tonight.
Where did it go?
It came here.
But like where? Like the docks are a big place.
Yeah, I don't know. The guard's afraid of him though.
I mean, if it's a one of the higher companies, yeah, they can make people disappear pretty quickly, and that's what it sounds like happened to Barry.
That's sad.
So you think Barry's here
Too bad.
somewhere?
I'm glad we found out for you though.
I love the Damon's just like, yeah, your friend's here somewhere. They did something with his body. I don't know. I'm out. Good luck. Glad we could help you. Silo would not let that stand. She would punch you in the arm.
I assume that Carrie and my sister did something important while this is happening.
I'm going to say the manager is not there. Have Dahlia roll a basic tech to break into the office. She should be fine.
I don't want to roll anymore for Dahlia. Or Carrie. Yeah.
Getting into the office is not a clue, by the way. The clues are in the office. This is just to get in. So she's broken her lockpicks or whatever it is in the door handle. So the door is now broken. So we're gonna say there's windows. We're gonna say they have to break in one of the windows and crawl in. So it's possible, but there's clear evidence now that you guys have broken into. Someone has broken into the manager's office.
Right.
That's clear. But you can get in. So then they're gonna check the computer. So have Dahlia roll an Alexec.
What are we saying their Alexec is? Because I think it was pretty good. I think it was a 13.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
13 plus 2 because she gets her tech roll added to it. So base 15.
So 20.
So yeah. Easy. She finds the manifest. She finds a memo. Oh, there's the distraction. She turns it on. She breaks in.
Yeah.
And there's icons all over the desktop.
She probably would spend some time organizing the
Well,
desktop.
let's find out if she gets distracted by this obstruction. What does she have to roll? A DV of the GM's choosing. I'm going to say concentration. I don't think Dahlia has any points in concentration. 2
minimum, because you have to put 2 in.
Do you in concentration?
Yeah, it's one of the base stats.
I'll trust you. I don't think her will is great. I'm going to say 6, so let's say she's got a base 8.
Okay. She spends 2 luck on this. 16.
16. Alright, I will say 16 is enough. She is cringing. It is so difficult for her specifically, to overcome this.
Yeah.
But she manages, so she's only going to take 1d6 damage of focus. Which she should be fine. She loses 5. That's a good chunk, though. But she's able to overcome the obstacle. We had her roll her Lexdex, so she's able to find the manifesto and the memo, which is great.
And I assume she finds out that the footage was deleted.
Um,
That's not on there, but since she's there to look for the footage.
she is there to look for the footage. So yeah, we'll say she finds the footage, and the footage for that, for like the chunk of time. Let's see, how long would it take to yeet probably an unconscious body into a container, lift it, move it, and drop it, and leave? I assume not that
10-ish
long.
minutes.
Okay, so we'll say 15 minutes. Plus the drive to the warehouse, right?
Yeah.
So there's a 20-minute chunk of time. From
Missing.
like
Well, it'd
an
be
hour
like 25
and a
minutes for the
half
van to get back out.
ago that is missing.
Okay.
Roll me 2d6.
Seven.
Alright.
How close are we, by the way?
You're at 34 out of 50.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you've almost completely solved it. So they call you and they say that she's got access to the shipping manifest and a memo about someone being fired tomorrow for dumping a container into the bay.
Okay. I would ask him
Also
where
that this desktop is horrible and there's icons all over the place and oh my god, they need a better filing system. And who files shipping manifest under games? Nobody does that. It's like they didn't even change the default file location.
And
it would cost you 5 minutes for her to go on a rant about the icons.
He would ask Jay where that manifest, where those boxes would be, so he can check against that manifest and tell his sister to meet him there.
Okay. So you guys head to Warehouse 6.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to verify manifest.
That's going to take a while. So, give me, as you head over there to Warehouse 6, I'm going to say, give me a perception check from everybody.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, someone did good.
Yeah. So the rolls were 3, 5, 9, and 13. And I don't know what base stats are, but I would assume...
We'll say 10.
Okay. Assuming 10s for all those, 13, 15, 19, and 23.
Okay. So the 13 doesn't notice anything.
Damien.
Okay. There is light. There's not a lot of light, but there is some light. The 15 would notice the crane is positioned over the water. Possibly in relation to that memo about someone dropping a container. The 19, as you guys are walking through with the manifest, this is going to take some time as you're walking through the area. Yeah. Would notice that the ground is dry below, in a space that almost looks like an alley, like a new alley that was created, except that you notice that there is a patch exactly the size of the cargo containers on either side of it that is completely dry, where the rest of the ground is still wet from the...
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for rating. Where the ground is still wet from the rest of from the rain that fell earlier. Thank you guys so much for the raid. I will give you a shout out in a moment. Thank you so much. Welcome in. We're
testing our mystery.
Yeah, we're just kind of finishing up this mystery that we've created to see how well it'll go. And then whoever got 23 also noticed this. So you guys noticed, by the way, the other things, the higher you go, right? So everyone notices the crane except for Damien. Two of you notice the ground is dry. And then the person with the highest perception, you also see very lightly even in the dark, because some of the lights kind of trail off and only one person has the manifest and someone else is reading numbers, and it doesn't really, you don't need 4 people to do this. So you're kind of looking around, and you do happen to notice a couple bubbles float to the surface. Just tiny ones, not a lot, but they seem to be kind of constant in the water underneath kind of where the crane is. And I need you
At
to
this
roll
point,
me
realistically,
2d6.
I think Carrie would run and jump directly in the water, but...
I don't think she would.
She...
First, I need you to roll me 2d6.
I know. I think she would have put it together at this point, though, with the information that we have. I got 8.
Oh, 8?
Yeah.
Damn, yo. So that's 42, right? The complexity of the mystery was a 50. And that was even with me lowering some of those, which I think is totally fine.
Yeah.
Because you're right, I think at this point, you guys do have all the information. Otherwise, looking through the manifest would just cost you some extra time and realize, hey, there's a cargo container missing. Where could it have gone? You would have put it together.
Right. And we missed a lot of clues and fumbled some of them. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
And you still hit it.
It functions. So. Yeah.
With that, though, with the 42, and then, of course, her being like, there's someone here. I don't think she would dive straight in because it's dark. The water is black. She doesn't know where she's going. I don't know if Carrie can swim. I remember that was a conversation. I don't know if she actually learned said that she can swim, so I don't think she can swim. But I think someone definitely was like, oh my god, there's bubbles. What if they're in the container? And then you guys would have to... But you're
I
think you're probably at either an hour and a half, maybe an hour 45, so you still have... like 15 minutes to play with to save Barry. Calling Jay's a good call because he would know how to work the crane.
Yeah.
Although he might not be able to get it out of the water, but he might be able to get you some gear. So you might be cutting it close, but I feel like the bandits could have solved this with maybe a 5-minute window.
Right.
And ends up saving Barry. And if you guys were...
Oh, nice.
Curious, which, I mean, I feel like because it's the bandits, no, you would have saved Barry and you would have been like, okay, Jay, there's your friend, let us know if you have any issues, bye, and would have GTFO'd. However, if, you know, your players are interested and they ask Barry what happened, and he's like, I was bagged, I was on the phone, maybe he's a little closed off if you can get him to open, and it's something that they want to investigate, definitely turn this into a larger mystery and have this as part of that larger mystery. So take the total damage that they rolled, or that you rolled as the GM, for focus damage, and apply it to the mystery at large that's going on, and definitely let them investigate it. But if they're just like, okay, bye Jay, we had fun, and they walk off, and as a player, if that's something you guys want to investigate, but your characters didn't investigate it because they didn't show any interest in pursuing this, tell your GM out of game that mystery is something you wanna solve. Your GM will thank you, because otherwise they're going to assume it's not
the bandits would go, glad we were able to help.
And they would walk away. Also, I feel like if your guys really love combat, and I wanted to put this mystery together without combat, because it's not necessary, but it's still an interesting gig. I feel like it's still, you know...
And there's a couple of moments where combat could happen, depending on how it all goes.
Yep. If you wanted to tweak this slightly to allow for a bit of combat, you could have them chase the van, like, start with a clue that leads them, you know, to the bar,
abduction site,
and
as
the bar
the abduction's
to
occurring.
the abduction site, like, put the abduction site a little lower on the list, and witness the abduction, and then have them chase the van until they lose the van, or catch up. But then you're either saving Barry from catching the van, which could be, your mystery would end real fast. But you could throw in some chase rules, or you could have a combat at the docks, where maybe 2 dock workers that look like security are really the executives that are waiting for
that are there scrubbing
container
the footage
to
and stuff
just
like that.
Stop bubbling to make sure Barry doesn't get out.
Yeah, and the moment you start trying to save him, combat begins.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to stop you.
Yeah.
So that's how you can add combat to a otherwise mostly investigative gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that was helpful. I feel like
it was.
I think we put together a decent mystery.
Yeah.
An investigation and gig that would just last one session.
That I'm not so sure about, but
hey, you
I also feel like I ran through it like the bandits would have.
quickly rolled dice with me, and you got through it in, like, what, 15 minutes? Of course you knew kind of where to go, but you made logical leaps.
Yeah, I didn't do anything I don't think the characters would have done.
Correct.
And, like, we only talked to some of the witnesses. We didn't get the tape at the bodega. Like, there's a lot of things that, like, a real team would have probably done that the bandits wouldn't have.
A real team probably would. I like that the bandits gave up on the bodega conversation almost immediately. Like, oh, we're not getting anywhere with this. We're just gonna...
Alright, well, we gotta go.
Yeah, thanks. That's such a bandit thing, though. Such a bandit thing. Oh, man.
Well, you have a good night. Thank you for coming. And we're actually about to call it, too.
As soon as the cooldown ends. I can't do multiple in a row, which is really annoying, by the way.
Yeah.
So I will do that, but have a good sleep.
Yes. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah. Bodegas are awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of them in Night City for some reason.
Because content of brands sucks.
Right. This is completely off topic. Did you read Jay's latest thing about building the neighborhood?
I actually haven't gotten a chance to read his latest blog post. No, his dev post.
Oh. Never mind.
No. What?
He talks about, like, he goes step by step in, like, building a neighborhood. Like, what do I want in here? I want a gang. I want some corporate influence. I want a store. I want... Because he read some article about how dangerous palm trees are because, like, dropping coconuts and stuff. And, like... Yeah, so he has a palm tree grove in a corner of the lot, and like he just goes through like these are the things I want, and then like step by step goes through building this neighborhood, and it's really neat. Like
That's
you see
awesome.
It drawn out and everything. So
I saw a quick
check out that blog. Yeah.
Yeah, over
off topic.
The Artel Discord. Not well, off but not.
Well, and it's for Forlorn Hope, so.
Hope Reborn.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Not downloadable content, just artelservinggames.com. I'm pretty sure it'll be the first article on the homepage because that's the latest.
I think it is still.
So it should be. But yeah, that's how to use the DLC to write a mystery. I hope we did okay with it.
And we've solved this injustice that we did not build a mystery. So.
Yes, that was the big thing.
But then the first episode would have been 4 hours instead of 2 hours, so...
That is also...
We intentionally broke it up.
Yes.
Across...
That was the plan. Definitely.
I'm trying, Jess.
I appreciate you. So thank you guys
and we appreciate
so
you
much
guys.
for coming out, for participating in this.
Yeah, you guys had some great comments and stuff.
Yeah, I apologize if I shut down Andy too harshly. It was not my intention.
She shut down everything I said, so it was okay.
He's just more used to it. Oh, I love you, buddy.
I love you too.
So that's that. Like, I just want to remind you guys, in November, the first Thursday of November, I think it's November 7th, we will be going over the Your New Best Friend DLC.
Love you guys. Bye.